Good afternoon. So, as the title of this video says, this is about tithes, tips, and other forms of donations. I mean, that is what even tithing, tips, it's donations. Now, I'm sure those of you who go to church regularly or strong in your religions, your faiths, you understand about tithing and what it is. But kind of in a nutshell, donations, tithing, all that kind of wraps up into it is the sharing of your success, the sharing of abundance with others. Not showing off, but sharing. Bit of a difference. So, for this conversation, I want to kind of maybe introduce a different idea for it to you. Maybe you've heard of this before, maybe you haven't. But to kind of start somewhere with this. So for any donations you make, be it, again, tithings, tips, donations to your favorite charities, organizations, what have you, how much of that money that you donate, that you tithe, goes straight to helping individuals? And how much of that money goes to overhead, goes to salaries, goes to building maintenance, funds, goes to paperwork and stuff like that? How much of your tithe goes to that versus goes to, just as an example, helping the homeless? Many organizations help the homeless. Many organizations help veterans. But have you looked at, on the back end, how much of your donations are actually going directly to the individuals? Like building a home for somebody that needs a home. You're donating to an organization that builds homes for the less fortunate. There's a lot of materials, a lot of people involved in that process. You're donating money to veterans organizations. How much of that money actually is going in some form to directly help the veteran? And how much is going to just the overhead, the logistical side of it? If you've never looked that information up, even, some of the best charities out there, I would advise you strongly to take a few minutes, a few hours, a few days, whatever, and go through and look that up. If it's not readily available, if it is not clear cut, then I would start questioning that organization. Any legitimate organization should tell you, hey, 40% is going to this, 20% is going to this, 10% for this, 5% for this, and the rest, and whatever left is going to the end product, the end benefit for the individual or the group or what have you. And it's that idea that I want to bring to you, is that end product, helping the individual. Because in the end, that's kind of what these donations are, this tithing is about. Now, again, tithing, I believe it is, if I'm correct, and please let me know down below if I'm not. But tithing is 10%. A tithe is 10% of your income. Now, whether that's weekly, monthly, annually, whatever. We'll just say weekly for the purposes of this discussion. Now, how many people actually tithe 10%? I don't know. I don't know those numbers. And it's mostly irrelevant for this discussion right now. But it is about sharing abundance. So whether you're tithing, you're donating 1%, 5%, 10%, 20%, that's on you. No judgment either way. You are sharing your abundance if you are donating to a cause that you believe in. But have you ever thought for your tithe just to give it directly to the affected individual, to give it to people less fortunate, to share your abundance with others, maybe even those that are not as unfortunate as your primary donations, but sharing it nonetheless. And this is where I bring in like tips. Do you have any portion of your tithe, your donation, weekly donation, do you set that aside? Do you say, okay, I make, for example, $1,000 a week. So you set aside $100 to give away, to donate in some cause. Well, when you go somewhere and you are going out to eat, having some service provided for you, whether it's in your home or what have you, donating, tithing part of that money to the individuals who've assisted you. Now, I'm not saying give them the entire $100, but a portion of that, allocating that money for tips as a donation. Now, maybe that's not the intention, but it is still that sharing of abundance. Because obviously, if you're making $1,000 a week, you're probably not doing too bad. Depending on what area of the country you live in, of course. And hopefully your life is abundant, and that you can share that. If your life is not abundant, my heart goes out to you, and I wish you a better life, and I hope you achieve that better life. But for those that are abundant, that have it, do you plan? How well do you plan? Are you just, I'm going to give it to this organization and that's all I'm ever going to give? Every year I'm going to give some money to this organization. Or I go to church every Sunday and that's where I give. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Not at all. Share your abundance in whatever way you want to. But broaden your ideas of what sharing abundance really means. just to your annual tax-deductible charity. Sharing it with that directly going to the local homeless shelter, and sharing it directly with that particular shelter. Or even more so, if there is a way in your community, sharing it with a specific family. Reducing the waste that overhead takes from our donations, from our tithes. It doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't take a lot to change someone's life in a big way. Even $10 for some people can change their whole outlook for the month. A single mother, single father that's working several jobs and just not able to keep up with life and all the expenses. That extra $10 could put food on the table. That could mean their children have a meal or two. Just an idea that I'm hoping you kind of rethink how and when you donate, who you donate to. Now, if this is controversial for you and you believe that tithing should only be done to a church, okay, that's, as I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you believe your donations should only go to an organization and allow them to distribute it, okay, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But just rethinking the foundations of what it means to donate, to share your abundance. Because sharing abundance is sharing love. Sharing a part of yourself because you want to help. If you truly want to help and you're not just looking for a tax deduction at the end of the year. That idea to you if it hadn't occurred to you before. Don't be afraid to share abundance, and look at all the ways you can share your abundance. Maybe in some cases it's not financial, maybe it's time. Maybe you have an abundance of time and you want to give of your time and energy. That